conversations. I sat in at 3 tables, and even though some of the detail was different, I certainly heard in those 3 conversations some big themes emerge, but I'll save that till the end. So what we're going to do now is go table by table. I would ask that the recording person at your table report out to the large group on 3 points, 3 main points. I know that's a bit tricky because I've seen pages and pages of notes, but if you can drill that down to your 3 main points, please hold on to your notes and hand them back at the end, because all of the notes will be typed up and distributed. So I'm going to call on the debt impact on health and safety table.
First point is that the custodial and maintenance workers do not have the manpower to meet and maintain the health standards. And number 2, they would like to see transparency and honesty regarding costs, cuts, and debt.
Great, thank you. Anything else from anyone at your table?
There is one more thing.
One more? Okay.
And that the school district has suggested closing the schools over winter break, turning the heat off. That will potentially cause a lot more problems with the restarting. A lot of the systems don't like being shut down. They're not going to restart easily. There's only 3 HVAC people to maintain those systems. And as an example, last winter in the school board office, the heat was turned off to save money, and the floor got too cold and the ceramic tile in the lobby all cracked and had to be replaced.
There we go. They have a story to illustrate to that point. That's good. Thank you. Thank you to table 1. Second table, third-party response to the district debt.
We were doing third-party response, isn't it? It wasn't meant to be such an elusive title. People really were quite intrigued, but we're talking about the Deloitte report and the report done by Margaret White at the BCTF and the report done by Smythe Radcliffe accounting firm, looking at the deficit in Langley and the debt, so that third-party meant people other than those directly connected had done some research and had a point of view. So we were looking at all of their research to see what they had to say to date. And in having done all of that, we looked at the Deloitte, the one that was struck people most was the report from Margaret White at the BCTF. And in there she makes note that in this year alone, the year coming 2009-10, there will be a 47% decrease in the salary projections for special education staff. People here at the table, you don't have to take all this, people here at the table just wanted to know how could that possibly be when the numbers of identified students this year have actually risen. So there's big concern about the salary identified on the ministry website, pointed out by Margaret White. Second big issue here was that people felt there should be a forensic audit, that it's public money, and we should know where it went. There was a lot of support for the BC Teachers Federation supporting the motion around the Auditor General coming in to review the superintendent's role in the creation or the accumulation of the debt.
So can I ask a question? Has that request been made, or is this supporting something, an action?
The LTA made a request. A letter went from the LTA asking the Auditor General to conduct a review of the oversight role of the superintendent of schools. The response has been received. Susan Fonseca received a letter back already saying thank you. Actually, the closing was interesting. We sincerely thank you, for this request. So when we met in Victoria, we did ask if the education critic, Robin Austin, or other opposition MLAs would be interested in supporting that, and they indicated that was something they may be able to do for us. But the BCTF, all of the locals all around the province held what's called a rep assembly, and at the provincial body they did pass a motion, and we now have had 2 staff assigned by the BCTF who will be working with us and who will be pushing forward on asking for a review by the Auditor General of the superintendent. It will be reviewed by the Auditor General of the superintendent's role in the accumulation of the debt, and a review by the Ministry of Education of the superintendent oversight role. So with the support of the BC Teachers Federation, and should we be fortunate enough to get the support from others like the Education Opposition Critic, we hope that pressure will ensure that those audits actually happen and we will end up with more information. Those were pages of notes, but 3 points.
Great. Okay, table number 3, LTA position on the district debt.
You know, support 100, let's say full support for the Langley Teachers Association position on the debt. Statements that kind of reflected throughout the evening were the public is looking for parents. Parents are looking for the LTA as a strong body to stand up for accountability in this and to speak as sort of frontline advocates for students. Recipients of, you know, put down the line of what's going to happen here, the problem that we're in. So, and this is coming from parents who heard that quite strongly and working in connection with the LTA, seeing us as a strong body. We're the frontline workers. Another point was to move on. We can't move on to work on with the deficit plan before honest accountability has occurred. It's like the Band-Aid needs to be ripped off here. We've got to pull out the thorn and before anything gets moved on. So we, working with partners down the road with the deficit plan, that's really ugly. The line has to be drawn, accountability now. And that's responsibility by the board and the superintendent. And I guess the third point is that we'd like to acknowledge that Rob McFarland is here and Wendy Johnson is here, and we appreciate that.
I'd just like to mention that we did get regrets from Chair Beck, and when we planned this evening, we didn't realize that November 19th is always Douglas Day, and I see also Councillor Rosemary Wallace is here, and thank you for joining us, Councillor Wallace. That was a pre-planned event, and many of the councillors and both the mayors were attending that tonight, and I also spoke to Mayor Fassbender, and many of them would have liked to come, but they had made a prior commitment. So we did appreciate those who took the time to send regrets and say that they had already accepted an invitation. So Chair Beck and Mayor Fassbender were among those, and three student ones as well.
Is that all?
3 points. Yeah.
3 points, great.